The first three grandmasters. When I refer to the first three grandmasters, I do not mean King Solomon, King Hiram of Tyre, and Hiram of Biff, but rather the three heroes of the revival, Anthony Sayer, George Payne, and John Desaguliers. However, I should also include James Anderson. Apart from writing the constitutions, it is not known what part he took in rewriting and expanding the 3 degrees, though it can be assured that he was present. Sayer was installed as the Premier Grand Lodge's first Grand Master in June 1717, as it was recorded, Anthony Sayer, gentleman. At that time, gentleman meant a man of independent means, and that he was gentry. At the meeting of the Apple Tree in 1716, he was chosen to be the first Grand Master, as he was the oldest, which might have meant the most experienced. However, very little is known about Sayer's life. We understand afterwards that he became so reduced in circumstances that he petitioned the Grand Lodge for financial assistance, the first time in 1724 for the equivalent of 2,000 modern pounds, and again for small amounts. Last time in 1741 when he was aged 69. Grand Lodge established a committee for charity in 1724, and Sayer may have been one of the first to use it. Historians have attributed his circumstances to a couple of factors. Firstly, the impact of the South Sea bubble bursting 1720, though there's a 4-year gap between this and Sayer petitioning Grand Lodge. And secondly, he may have been an alchemist, and as we know, alchemy was an expensive business. Sayer served as senior Grand Warden when John Desaguliers was Grand Master. 1723, Sayer was a warden in an operative lodge, number 3. Then around 1741, he was the tiler of a lodge at the King's Arms. This is probably unheard of in modern times for a Grand Lodge officer, especially a past Grand Master, to serve outside the lodge door. Whatever Sayer's difficulties, he was well respected by his brother Freemasons, as a newspaper report of his funeral stated that a large number of Freemasons attended his funeral, and he was buried in a church in Covent Garden. George Payne served as the second Grand Master in 1718 and again in 1720, as Desaguliers was busy with the Royal Society and a suitable replacement had not been found. From the beginning, the Freemasons of the revival realized that it was important to have a noble brother at their head, so they saw themselves as caretakers until that could be achieved. Payne was a learned antiquarian and may have been responsible for recruiting both the antiquarian John, 2nd Duke of Montague, to be the first noble Grand Master in 1721, and then the Earl of Dalkeith, another antiquarian, to be the Grand Master in 1723. Besides being an antiquarian, Payne had an important position at the tax office, and in 1732 he was appointed its secretary. The tax office was part of the Exchequer, as was the Royal Mint, where Isaac Newton worked, so you would expect that they knew each other. In Freemasonry, Payne served in several capacities, such as Master of the Lodge at the Rum and Grapes in 1723, and as Deputy Grand Master in 1725 for the Grand Master, the Duke of Richmond. More is known about John Desaguliers than other Grand Masters because of his association with the Royal Society, having joined the Society as an assistant to Isaac Newton in 1714. This is interesting because in his youth, Unlike Newton, Boyle and Hooke, Desaguliers showed no interest in things scientific. Desaguliers was born in La Rochelle, France, but his family had to leave France just after he was born due to the revocation of the Edict of Nantes. His father was a Huguenot minister and was later ordained as an Anglican minister and was sent to serve in Guernsey because he spoke French. Desaguliers and his mother joined their father in Guernsey, and legend has it that the infant Desaguliers had to be smuggled onto the island inside a barrel. Later, Desaguliers entered Christ Church College at Oxford with the intention of taking the cloth, and graduated with a BA in 1709, taking holy orders the next year. He completed his master's in 1712, and the same year moved to work with Newton, who was then president of the Royal Society. Desaguliers helped at the Society's weekly meetings, and later Desaguliers was also made a Fellow of the Royal Society. Outside of work, it is believed that Newton and Desaguliers were close, as Newton was godfather to Desaguliers' daughter, though we know nothing of her. Desaguliers also had two sons, Thomas and Alexander, who went on to have distinguished careers. Interestingly, had his father not converted to Anglicanism, Desaguliers would not have been able to attend the University of Oxford, and his life would have been very different. And also, the revival of Freemasonry may also have never happened. Thank you.